Or no live?
Yeah, we were, but it got all funky, so let me do it again. There we go. We should be live. YouTube sometimes, man, it just gives me the vapes.
We are live.
Okay, good. All right. Hello, everybody. Sorry about that. YouTube was taking its sweet ass time to let me know that we were live. So I stopped and started again just to make sure, you use technology and software. What can you do, man? So, hello and welcome back to another edition of the Jedi Academy, the show where we do nothing but answer your questions about Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, the mobile game brought to you by Capital Games. I'm your host, Ranger J 1999, recovering from a long week of extra streams we've been doing as we've been raising money for the American Cancer Society. Thanks to everybody that came out yesterday. If you missed it, we had a special guest come back for the first time in a while and who should be making her comeback soon. McVoltron, aka McVenom, is back in the fold. And we're going to be looking forward after next week after Megacon to get her back into playing more games. But thanks to everybody that's come out and donated. We were at $10,650 raised so far. If you'd like to, go to our Tiltify campaign and you can donate as well, and it's very much appreciated. And this is all leading up to our what we do every year after our long streaming and raising funds and stuff. We're going to go to Megacon and have a celebration and represent ourselves and the ACS and Megacon. So yes, so there you go. Well, joining me today, and we'll have more people join, I'm sure. We've got the best all the sign fly, the best sand fly in the beach. All the sand fly be here. How to mercy.
Hey. Yeah, I'm heading off on Monday back to New Zealand, so it's a good opportunity to pop in because I'll be away for a while. But yeah, no, congratulations on all your fundraising this week. I've been lurking in quite a few of the streams. But yeah, good
Yes,
stuff.
I've
Good
seen you.
stuff.
Yeah, you should come hang out actually in the Zoom call instead of in the chat, you psycho, when I'm actually streaming. I told you that.
Well, you keep changing the Zoom calls, so I can't join.
No. There's this one, and then there's the lunch stream. All you have to do is this thing called message me, and I'll send you the damn link. It's not that hard, all
Nah,
this.
it's good. But no, I think it's a great presentation, and it was really nice to see, Finn and yeah, there was
Yeah.
Phasmo in there. Yeah, it was really cool. Good to
Yeah,
see.
it
Good to
was. We
see.
had a lot of fun this week doing different stuff. I know I did some SWGOH stuff and things of that nature. But next week I'm going to be taking the PC and try to see if I can get this thing finally fixed so I can start going out to other games. There's a new One Punch Man game that I'm interested in playing, and I want to get some Among Us started, and some other things. But I got to get the PC updated before then. So there you go. All right, we are on YouTube. So the way this works is if you have a question about, oh, fuck it, anything. And I just demonetized myself because I said F in the first 5 minutes, but I don't care anymore because
Excellent.
it's not like we're
Let me
going to
like and
make anything
subscribe.
on YouTube anyway. We don't make a thing on YouTube, guys. Let me just be as straight up. I do this for you guys. We do this show for you guys. So I don't make, we lose money on the deal because YouTube is trash, but it's a platform that you guys really like, and it's really good on a Saturday for you guys. And so we continue doing it. So I can cuss all I want. I don't care. YouTube can demonetize me. It's not like we're gonna make anything. But the way it works is if you have a question, pop that into the chat. Make sure you put the word question in front of your actual question statement. That helps me identify your questions, and we'll start from there. Any topic you can pretty much do, and we'll rock and roll from there. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, subscribe. If you want to donate and become a Patreon, you can become a Patreon. There's a lot of benefits for that. That's linked in the description of the video. Also leave comments. That always helps. But yeah, hit the thumbs up, participate, give your greeting, all that stuff's very, very much appreciated. I appreciate everybody being here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are out there in the world. So if you haven't given a Patreon, please do. That keeps me up and streaming. And because you just don't make anything, even with Twitch, Patreon is what keeps content creators going. So if you haven't become a Patreon, please consider going to Patreon and becoming a Patreon. $5 a month. It's all it is. You do $5 a month. You get your own VIP status. You have unlimited access to me for SWGOH and a lot of other things. So, anything else? No, I think that's it. Check out the Tiltify. Get your questions in. Hit the thumbs up. Subscribe. Comment. Blah blah blah. Anything else? Trying to think. We'll be in Megacon next week. I'm leaving early Thursday morning to get down there. We got a lot of fun stuff. We're only $350 away too. If we get to the 11K mark, by the way, for the Tiltify before we head off to Florida, 2 lucky people that are in Florida are going to be able to get their picture taken with me and Finn and Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen while we're at Megacon. So that'll be an awesome memory. So we're $350 away from giving that little prize out along with all the other prizes that we've assembled, and it will be given away like a signed comic book by Jeff Johns or the Green Lantern, which is incredible, and things of that nature. So yeah, if you're in the Florida area, Orlando next week, come see us. Friday, we're gonna get to Thursday, have a meet and greet, eat and rest, because Friday I'm going to be in the full Beskar costume the entire day. So if you want to get your picture taken with me in the full Monty of the Beskar costume, that will be your only day, because once that bitch comes off, I am not putting that thing back on. Not heavy. It's just when you wear it all day, trust me, it is.
What temperature will Florida be at this point?
70s, 80s. But I mean, I tested it already. Remember, I remember I wore it in
Well, I know
Las
you were in
Vegas.
Vegas. I'm just thinking, have you ever thought about going to a place that isn't baking hot and trying out the tin costume?
It won't be baking hot in Florida. It's winter time
we'll
here.
find-
Yeah, it won't be that hot. So plus I'll be inside most of the time, so it's not like I'm going to be in a non-controlled environment.
What is Megacon? Megacon, that's more than Star Wars.
Comic-Con, it's one of those.
It's all the others as well.
It's Nerdville for nerds. It's got everything that you can think nerd. If you want to have a nerdgasm, for Marvel to Star Wars to whatever you can think of in the nerdverse, is going to be there. A lot of awesome people are going to be there. They're having a Back to the Future panel. Finn's getting his picture with Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd, and stuff like that. My thing was, I just want to, when I found out Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen were going to be there, I'm like, yes, that's me. That's so Sunday I'll be getting that picture taken with Finn and whoever else, whoever gets the prize. So that'll be a lot of fun on Sunday. Saturday, we're going to be hanging out in SeaWorld. So Friday's going to be Megacon all day. We'll have fun Friday night, hanging out with everybody, eating, karaoke, whatever we decide to do. Same thing Thursday. Oh yeah, drinking. After I wear that costume, I need a couple alcohol drinks at me. Saturday's just going to be hanging out in SeaWorld and just having fun with everybody. And then Sunday is going to be back at Megacon, mainly getting pictures and stuff. Whoever wants to be there while me and Finn are getting that done. Once we get that done, then and then I'm probably coming back Sunday night or Monday. I have to get with Finn about where we're going to stay and what we're going to do for travel and everything like that. So
I went to Star Wars Celebrations this year. It was the first ever one of these things I'd been to, and
they're incredible.
It was incredible, but honestly, I was like a lost little lamb.
Yeah,
you really need to. It's a weird thing, but you kind of need to plan your day.
Oh yeah,
because there's so much going on at different times and different queues to be in at different points. And the entire day I was heading in one direction while the entire crowd was going in the other direction because I was just completely lost. But yeah, amazing fun. We'll have an incredible time. There'll be pictures in Discord, hopefully.
Oh yeah, we're Desi and contingent. There's going to be a lot of people there. Desi's going to be in charge of photos and video and stuff. She's our handler while we're there, because Finn's going to be in Bob Ross Deadpool. I don't know, but he's not going to be able to do videos and stuff. But and I definitely will not be, because I'll be in my costume. So she'll be doing videos, but we're going to try to live stream, but because there's so many people there that it's, it really taps the Wi-Fi and things of that nature. We have our own hotspots for our stuff, but even then it's like, meh. So we may just do videos and post those on, and at the end of the day, do like a stream for you guys real quick, just to let you know what happened and things of that nature, and we'll upload stuff for you guys. Will probably be the better thing to do, but we'll give it a shot. We really are going to try. But you're walking around Con, the only thing you can really run around with is a camera and your phone, so and I'm not going to be in a position to do that, so we'll do the best that we can. So yeah, we'll
fantastic.
We'll keep you posted on everything. And I've got the new costume ready to go. I got the new gray flight suit from season 3. Everything's ready to rock and roll. I'm gonna do a final little test on everything, make sure everything's good, and then we're gonna pack it up and be ready to wear that on Friday. And I'm gonna be in that bitch all day Friday. So if you want to get your picture taken with me and Finn and everybody else and everything else that's gonna be going on, that is the time. So there you go. All right, let's get to the questions. They're all, doesn't say hi to all the boys and girls, shall we?
No questions. People think of questions.
All right. Sapa98, our good friend, says, today from Fish and Chipland, old boy. Rucker to gear 10 today, old chap. Oh, very nice. Good show, boy. Nathaniel Morgan says, hello there. Just a simple hello there, okay. Hello there. What else? 73 says, make it funky now. Played that funky music, white boy. Glad to have you here. What else? 73. Jason Hobby says, word to the mothership, word indeed. Tumblo Dry, the man with the best throw in the business, says, hello there, Ranger, Aldi, and chat, and of course, Skull Jahal. Luke is joining us. Luke says, Morning Ranger from East Tennessee is a beautiful morning in the volunteer state. That's right. Tumblo says, oh my God, McVoltron's back? Nice. Yeah, she was out hanging out with us all night last night, and we had a lot of fun. You did miss McVoltron there, What Else on 3. Yeah, she was on the stream last night. Yes, it was a nostalgic Friday night. Contingent, the man, the myth, the legend says, good morning, everyone. It says, also trial and error. Try one. If it doesn't work, try the other. Right. Dark side hits joint. Hello there. Hello there. Jedi Rules, our Legoland master from San Diego, says, hey from San Diego. So there you go. All right. Glad to have you here. Betty Hall. Hello, Betty. Says, yay, I got off work in time to attend Jedi Academy. And then she says, Megacon. Yay. That's right. Depressed Wampa is saying happy Saturday, skewers. Hello, Depressed Wampa. Let's see. Continue says, plan one day, have one free day. Yeah. Darth Elder says, good morning, everyone. Gonna be asking Ewan and Hayden how good their SWGOH accounts are. No, I'm not gonna even bring that up to them. I have other things I'm gonna ask them, but it ain't gonna be about that. Betty says, the Floridians be crazy, Ranger. Oh, I know, I've spent a lot of time in Florida. Says, make sure you film the crazy things you see out there. Also, if you meet the YouTuber OMG, sorry, oh my God, it's Wix. Take a picture with him. Sure. If I even get a chance, it's going to be tens of thousands of people. I'll do the best I can for you, Betty. Phil Reagan joins us. Hello, Ranger and Skewers. Hello, my friend. Oh, so good to see you. Mr. Bone is rattling. Says, good morning, Skewers. Good morning, Mr. Bone. It's Linky. It's Linky. It's fun for a girl and a boy. Says, hello. Hello. What else in 3 says, more importantly, will there be enough Ewoks and Porgs to satiate Finn? For that, yeah. I don't know how Finn's going to feel when I start eating them, but, each their own. Linky question, who's excited for 3v3 other than Ram, of course? Okay, that answers that question.
I like 3v3. I do like 3v3.
Really? You get up in the morning and get a boner for 3v3?
I mean, there's too many battles in 3v3, and it gets a little bit scrappy. I
would say convoluted, but sure.
But I do like 3v3 because there is weird compositions. You constantly see different stuff there. Yeah, I don't know. It's a different thing. I was chatting to another content creator this morning, and I always forget my 3v3 like attacks. I forget the counters I use, and it takes me like a round or two to get back into it.
Yeah, that first week of 3v3 is it's fucking crazy, man, because
with all new datacrons and
all new
everything,
datacrons and teams and any new characters, and you just don't know. Unlike 5v5, which you have more flexibility with like a new datacron set, right? I don't know why CG move the first datacron set to 5v5. It gives players a lot more room to try to figure them out. 3v3 is double whammy because the datacrons have a huge impact, because especially certain powerful characters in 3v3 they're way more powerful because the datacrons up their shit so much and does stuff you're just like
but they're also less tested. We haven't spent a
we just
season
don't
using them.
Yeah,
we don't really know what this set's actually going to do when we get it out the box and put it into GAC. So, yeah. I mean, but I do think we're moving very much into an offensive meta where I think things are going to struggle to hold on defense, with some of the better defensive teams kind of losing their crons.
It's a different game. And it is always affected that first time 3v3 comes back by datacrons. Normal counters that you would use, forget that shit, because you got to rethink like what you are going to use and stuff. And it takes I think the first week of 3v3 is just chaos, because you just have to figure out what's working, what's not working. It's trial and error, and so we'll see what happens.
3v3 is generally chaos anyway. It's more of I always think that whereas 5v5 is like a marquee boxing match, 3v3 is like a fight out the back of the pub. Yeah. It's like there's
kick ass.
you're just trying to kill maybe one person to then beat the team the next time. It's a whole different kind of, it's a completely different mentality.
Yeah.
It is more like just people just slugging at each other rather than just throwing rubbish at the wall. Um, and I like that. I do like that more gritty rather than the sort of very perfect 5v5. Okay, it must be exactly 64 banners or 65 banners, otherwise I do like it. I like the 3v3. So I'm quite excited. I like 3v3.
All right.
I
Next.
actually, sorry,
Go
sorry
ahead.
again, sorry. I actually miss GAC when it's not on. It's nice to have the week off, but I do kind of miss it.
I don't. I mean, it's just so much chaos. Oh God, it is nice to. We need breaks. Our brains need a break. But then we're doing Conquest. But luckily for this Conquest, we've already been through the Conquest. That first Conquest, that first time it comes back with all the new feats, and then we're doing TB, and you've got the raid, and then GAC's hitting. That's when it's the most ridiculous. This one is not, because this week's kind of a cool week where you're just like, all right, let me chill. I already know what I'm doing in Conquest. I already have the teams and what I can get done, and I can just, pace myself. That first round of Conquest with everything is just brutal. Darkseid says, question, going for Jabba and Leia simultaneously, just got Boushh Leia to Relic 5. With her Datacron, what is a good team she can fit on in the meantime? We got 3v3 coming up. Oh, fuck. That's a good question. I don't know.
What does the Datacron do? What's its specific?
That's the Boushh with the thermals.
Yeah,
You can run a HUD cartel team with her. I'm just trying to think of what would be the ideal team. It's been a hot minute since I've even thought of that. HUD cartel.
Yeah, the
'Cause
problem
I don't
is
think
that
she has a leadership. Does she have a leadership?
she doesn't have a leadership, and the
You
and
can, yeah,
it
you go
is
Boushh, Lando Kersantin. I've seen that team before in the past,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
You
that'll
can throw her on
work.
bounty hunters, but it's not quite the same. She doesn't have the synergy. Although you could go, you know, um,
They did kind of when they made her, they did kind of lock her into that Jabba team. She is a scoundrel,
yeah,
but she doesn't genuinely have much outside of that.
No, you go lead with her. I remember that. And then Kersantin and Skiff Lando are pretty decent with their, or you can go, I think, like Leia Zam or Leia Greedo with Kersantin. You still want the tank in there. The bomb squad, where you just throw thermals out the yin yang, plus with her thermal stacking. So just lots of thermals that are just popping off on everybody. Those are some ideas. Same with the 5v5 team. You're just going to throw in Boushh, Kersantin, Skiff Lando, Greedo, Zam, something along those lines where you're just throwing thermals out just it's like a mini version of the Jawa team, with all the thermals that are flying and stuff. And plus her big AoE, once those thermals stack, if you don't kill her, you're going to hurt somebody. And it's a good banner stealing team. So it's not going to get you a lot of holds on defense, but it will steal some banners. And that can count for something, especially with these efficiency fights here of late. If you have her Datacron and she's like 5, then you can have some fun with that. I don't think there's any other team that I would necessarily go for with besides that. No. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Based on going with Heart Cartel, she's very, very tied to Heart Cartel. So
Yeah.
if you don't have Chrysanthemum, I mean, Chrysanthemum is the main. He's a tank. So you've got to have him at some sort of relic. So even if you're able to sort of rush his relic farm, depending on where he is, it's probably a better plan just to give him some sustainability. But
and what else? 3 says if you want to get crazy, Boushh, Kersantin, and Boba Fett. You could run Boba Fett there because of his execute and AoEs will pop thermals. I think because of her cron, whatever. But yeah. Continuous says, did you see that Hayden Christensen's Cash's shout in the next Sonic movie? I did not know. Good for him. Let's see here. Questions. Oh, let me scroll here. Trying to catch up with the chat. Hold on. Didn't we have a good morning? Okay, we did. I'll get a lot of quiet. I mean, Jedi Rules likes 3v3 too. So yeah, if you like 3v3, yeah. Yeah. And I always do well in 3v3. Usually I'm 6-3, 7-2 in 3v3. It's just like, okay. I usually go 6-3 in 3v3 and 4-5 in 5v5, says Darkseid. Yeah. I mean, that's typically the average. 5v5, it's a little bit harder to get a higher record. I'm usually 5-4, 6-3 in 5v5, and then 6-3 or 7-2 in 3v3, because most people don't really try in 3v3, right? Now that dissipates a little bit, but I've noticed it even in Kyber 1. I'll see some accounts that I'm like, what are you doing here? You have like 1.5 million more GP. And then I figure it out because they do one attack because they don't give a shit about 3v3. But they're Krakens anyway. They're just like, whatever. I don't like this game mode. I'm not doing this game mode. I see less participation, or if I do, it's minimal participation, right? In 3v3. And that's just the way it is, you know? Because I was kind of looking at that here recently because had some fights last 3v3. I'm like, what are you doing here? You should be top of Kyber. It's like, Jesus Christ. Actually, I ran into one guy in 5v5 the first fight. I'm like, you have 13 something million. Why am I fighting you? And he said, well, I didn't do any battles in 3v3. I was like, that makes sense. Yeah. Oh my God. Go ahead, all this.
It is. 3v3 is one of the most skippable bits of the game, and it's a bit that even if you skip it, you don't really lose any rewards because you're going to climb the season after when you get back to fives. So yeah, it is entirely skippable. There really isn't a penance for not doing it. There's not a penalty. So I can understand why people do it. Also, there's a lot of benefit because you don't need to bother learning 3v3 comps, whereas you can just focus on 5v5 for your TW, your TB, your GAC, and just ignore those little 9 battles. But yeah, and then fight them if you want, if you get a total miss. So there are increasingly people who do that. It's a shame. I mean, I never like it when people don't engage with an entire game mode in its entirety.
Well, yeah, it's just one of those things because everything else from TB, TW, the raid's its own thing, but you know, but most of the game, Conquest, it's all predicated on the synergy with 5v5, right? And it can be different whether it's PvP or PvE, but it doesn't really matter. That's what it's predicated on. And then this one little sliver of game mode, it's 3v3. Like, as you eloquently put, there's no sandbox mode. There's not like we can get ourselves prepared for it. You know, it's off-putting in the sense that people really hate it because you get all these new datacrons, you have 3v3, which is a totally different thing, and then that changes things on their head, and people are just like, I just don't want to deal with this. You know, they'll deal with all the other stuff, but when they look at 3v3, they're just like, I can't be bothered. You know, I mean, I'll wait for 5v5 to come back to give a shit. You know, so it's just one of those things where it's so jarring to some people that you're just like, you know, why should I really spend energy on this? You know, my own normal person energy on this, doing this stuff when I got Conquest and TBs and other things that I just want to focus in on. I mean, you should give some shit because it is still crystals, you know, and that can help you out. But yeah, no, we don't, Darkside. Get that shit out. All right. Let's see. We had some questions. Jedi Rules' question, Ranger, from our good friend Jedi Rules. Did anyone else besides me finish Conquest last night? I'm almost done with Sector 5. I've been mainly doing the big feats. This is the way I do it. I knock out the big feats, you know, the general feats first, get those done. I'm about to be done with Sector 5 today, but I'm 5 out of 8 on the big feats. I just have to do the cheese for the, you know, Veers and Stark and stuff, whatever they want, Piet, and get that one done. Get the kills there, and then I'm just in cleanup because the first order one I'll do in the next couple of days and finish that by Tuesday or Wednesday, where, you know, the 40 battles with first order. But outside of that, yeah, it's just going back in and then start getting all the 15s in Sector 5 and do all the 10s in Sector 4. Just work my way backwards until I get to Red Crate. So yeah, I mean, Conquest, all this, where you at? Sector 5? You were just
finished. Yeah, finished Sector 5 this morning. I've been making good progress in all the globals. Yeah, and same as you, just kind of work backwards. There's a few. I forgot about light side Mandos, so I'm having to rush those now. So I'll do about 3 battles a day with those. But yeah, pretty much it's going well. I mean, I need to get the red crate this time because I only got gold crate last time. So I've kind of identified this as the one to kind of push for red crate, take a bit of extra time. So yeah, but it's going okay. Conquest is okay. I have to say, I've actually spent probably the last couple of days, I haven't quite so much time to do the battles, so I've actually been farming a lot of datacrons over the last 2 days. So
Yeah, I'm ready. This
I,
weekend is when I pop all those treasure nodes and get all the stuff I need for
I
the
was almost
Datacrons.
finished. I was almost. I mean, it was. I think after about 2 days, I was halfway through Sector 4, and I could have finished Sector 5 maybe about a couple of days ago. But I've actually been hitting the data. I've just been doing like doing the refresh and then getting the Datacron mods or the Datacron mats.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been doing that for the last couple of days. So I need to get back into really hitting the feats. And I haven't done any of the cheeses yet for Sector 5 or anything like that. So
Yeah, we did
I'll
one
sit
last night
down.
to show it off to everybody, but the other cheese is, you just go to the mini boss fight with Iden. You leave everybody but her up. You take all your Amphight Agony shit like that off, so you don't, the dots don't kill her, and then you can knock out like we did for the like the dodge where you just get foresight. You just sit there and keep giving yourself foresight with the Yodas. One or two battles. That's one thing you can do. Same thing with the clone army. You get kills with clones. You just go in there, kill everybody but Iden one, and just keep one-shotting Iden over and over again. You knock that out. Same thing with the Iden Versio one. And then the Reeling Blow Stagger, that's the Dash Vet Han team that you put against a Phoenix team. You want to do it against a Phoenix team if you can get lucky and do it there, where you're getting Stagger 300 times. We showed that off last night. I think we took 2 fights to do it because we got 160 and then we needed 140 more, and then we knocked that out. So there are cheeses out there, right? You can cheese the shit out of Sector 5 and knock that out really quick, which is what you're going to do. You need Red Crate. It's Darth Bane. You got to cheese. You've got to cheese some of the stuff. You got to be efficient with your energy. So if there's any cheese out there, do the cheese, because you want to try to save as many attempts for those treasure nodes. If you give a shit about Datacrons, which I do, because I now have the new bow and all that stuff. So you bet your ass I'm working my ass off to try to get a bow Mandalore Ron, so yes, I must accomplish my mission, Smithers. Where am I in Sector 5? I've just got the couple battles before the final ones to get to Gideon, and I'll knock that one out, which is full squad resistance. Okay. And then win one with only dark side characters. Okay. Knock out both of those. So, yeah. Depressed Wamp, a question: how often does does CG do Galactic chases? It's random. It's super random. Like it goes in cycles sometimes, but we've had long stretches without Galactic chases, and then Galactic chase, and then another Galactic chase, right? Like when we had the Sith stuff last summer, I think we'd had one for Defender, yeah, and then I don't know if there was one in between, but then we didn't have anything until they announced, the Leviathan, right? And then all of a sudden we had back-to-back Galactic chases, right? For the 2 new Sith ships that came in, and then nothing. And then in random, here's another Galactic chase. It's just when they want to put it in. It's not like every 2 months you'll get a Galactic chase.
No. But the Galactic chase we just had for the Comeuppance did match exactly the timing of the TIE Defender that we had last year. So it is possible that they actually have a bit of a calendar up and we will actually follow the cadence of last year. So yeah, but there's only about 3 or 4 a year, if that. And they tend to be mostly the ships these days rather than anything else. So yeah, but yeah, the Comeuppance just match TIE Defender. They might be on the same cadence as that. So that'd be my advice.
Yeah, I mean, and just because after what's happened with Bo, anything can happen. So we could get another Galactic chase, and like last year, they'd be like, "Here's another Galactic chase right off the bat," and you're like, "Okay, that's different." So you got to keep that in the back of your mind as well. Linky says, "What is this stuff about Church Datacron and CG investigating it? As far as I know, and I don't know what's wrong with the Datacron because I don't have it yet." It's not working, and they're investigating why it's not working. That's all I know. I haven't seen it or know the specific details. All I know is it's not working. I saw that this morning. I'm like, okay, sure, it's Datacron's not working. I don't know why it's not working or how it's not working. It's just that it's apparently not working. If you go to the post, it says, the investigating reports to players that Church's unwavering courage Datacron is not working as described. Okay, there you go. So
I would say though, because I haven't seen any videos of somebody soloing Lord Vader with Chirrut, I can imagine it's probably
the other way. Or
it's probably not working well. It's probably just not working rather than overpowered. So I don't think it's an opportunity to try and get it, to try and, get an early advantage or anything like that. It's probably the other way around.
Yeah. So we'll wait and see. We don't know. So you have as much information as we do on that. Ray Rocks is Happy Up Ranger, Aldi Sandfly, Pico Flashers, Wookiee Strokers, Coffee Drinkers, and Taco Eaters. That describes most of us. Not Aldis, but most of the skewers. So there you go. I don't think Aldis drinks coffee. He does flashes pickle. Strokes Wookiees, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how often you eat tacos.
Depends.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah. Linky says, I'm just starting Sector 5 here. I haven't really been motivated to do more. That's okay. You still want to do it because Darth Bane. I'm telling y'all, man, Darth Bane's going to be a game changer. If you can get Darth Bane as quickly as possible, you go for it, because he's, even some of the testing I've seen, people have been talking about, it's like, good God, that thing's going to be massive game changing. So yeah. Marauder was a Galactic Chase. Oh yeah, I know Marauder was, but I mean, it's just, you can't count on. So when we look at like patterns from CG, for the most part, their cadence is the same for the last couple years, with a few exceptions here and there. But there's been some curveballs in there where it's like, okay, that's a little bit different, or that was different than before. Because the previous year we didn't have as many Galactic Chases. We had more Galactic Chases last year from the previous release of the new, capital ship, right? So there's things like that you have to just be aware of. For the most part, we know we're going to get stuff, and then it's going to start leading into stuff for the legendary, which we'll get in the spring. And then that's going to lead into a new meta fleet for the summer. And then we're going to get a new GL in the fall. And around that time, they're going to announce the new whatever raid they're coming up with, because the GL will be associated with that new raid. And then in the December Christmas holiday season, we always get some kind of legendary type character that they're going to release, right? That's kind of been their cadence. And in between anything else, everything else is, can be fluctuated, because it's not, that pattern hasn't been quite the same, but they could add or subtract from that. But that's kind of their pattern. That doesn't mean that just because they've done it the last couple of years means that they're going to do it the same thing this year, so we just got to wait and see. I mean, that's, we get kind of used to the same pattern, which is good. We like that. So we can kind of have an idea of what's coming, but yeah. What else? 3 says, a Datacron isn't working. I'm shocked. I know. Jedi Rules question, Ranger, what will be the announcement on Tuesday? On Tuesday? Tuesday or Wednesday, we're expecting a road ahead sometime in the next week or two, because that's something that Meathead kind of implied. Kind of give us an outlook of beginning the first part of 2024. Ideas of characters. We know Phantom Menace is going to be a big theme this year because it's the 25th anniversary. Rumors of Obi-Wan, Kenobi, Padawan. So some stuff like that. I don't know what other announcements will be in there. I think the only subtle one will be Heller and Beck will finally be farmable. Trying to think of, there could be some quality of life stuff in there, but I haven't heard anything about quality of life. It's been very, hush hush on that. There's been speculation of maybe changes to TW. I don't see that yet for them. But outside of characters and themes in the road ahead, it could be anything. They could throw a bomb on us where it's like, hey, we're doing these quality of life and this stuff here and this stuff, as well. I don't know, all this, anything on your radar for what could be in the road ahead, or information besides new characters and or ships coming up in the next, first couple quarters here for, SWGOH?
So yeah, I think we expect to be road ahead. Sometimes they just give us a state of the galaxy and go, well, that's it. Even those, but it's likely to be a road ahead. I think, I do think they will lay out TW or GAC matches, or at least an indication to look at it or try and change the map.
Sure.
I think that whether they'll do it or whether they'll have an idea or whether they'll just tell us they're about to do it. I think we all know that I don't GSC expansion, possibly Dark Side, but for me, I think the whole thing needs to be they need to re-look at it. So hopefully they'll give us either what they're going to do about it, but I think more likely they'll give us a look out for this soon type thing. I think they will hint at the new GL or hint at the new ship. So
Yeah.
I expect a trench type hint in there for the new ship. And I think, like you say, I think they'll talk about the Phantom Menace, whether or not they go as far to say, right, we're actually going to give you these characters. Normally, they do like to maybe announce one thing, like they might even announce Jar Jar Binks would be something I could see them doing. Because they want to give you some positivity. There will be some quality of life in there, I'm sure, but I think that'll be what it is. I think I know that the cycle kind of removes some of the surprise element. We used to just randomly get stuff dropped, whereas now we've
We
actually kind of
hated
got.
it. God,
It
did we
was
hate
just
that.
well, it was just difficult because you were constantly caught, kind of being pushed, twitched into between. Whereas I think now at the moment we're kind of into a nice cadence where. So I think everyone's enjoying the cadence. I don't know anyone that doesn't like it. It does remove
Yeah.
some of the surprise elements, but that's what I expect. I think it'll be. It's weird. They go away on holiday, they come back, they spend 2 weeks and say nothing while they write this. So normally their first road ahead is actually well written. It's
I'm
normally it's good and
yeah.
it's exciting and it's got a lot of stuff in there. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. So oh
I mean,
hey,
I would say we do expect Relic 10
I don't think we're getting
coming.
Relic 10, man. People are still struggling with stars for Relic 9 and TB. Unless they address Relic
Mhm.
9, because it's still
Well, I
so
think they'll do that as
difficult.
well. I think
If
they'll
they do, I'm okay
announce.
with Relic 10, but if they don't address Relic 9, man, it's really gonna demotivate players because it's like, Christ, we can't even get Relic 9 fast enough, besides the very top end, right? But it's like, it's really difficult. So if they were to up that and make it more accessible, like, sure. If you think it's time for Relic 10,
So
but you can't
I
skip
think
that.
I think what we'll see is I think we'll see a new TB planet added, and that might have like Relic 10 mats on it, and then a softening on
Sure.
Relic 9, or Relic 9 going into the Conquest store or the TB store, which the one where you spend the new
Yeah,
TB rewards, so, something like that. I do think that'll be softened, but yeah, that's
they're going to
kind
have
of what I
to.
expect. That's what I expect.
Yeah. Hey, look, it's Go Cubs Go. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? Cubs gonna win today. Says FY, it's the turn meter on Church level 9. There you go. The mystery has been solved. Go Cubs. The JC Labs giving us with all the juicy info. Go check out Go Cubs channel and all those guys over on
My
JC
guild,
Labs and stuff.
my guild not leader. He's not the leader of the guild,
He's
even though I
not the
think he
leader?
is. Well, I don't know. He just seems to be the most well-known person in the guild, but he
Okay.
is sort of in charge of the guild.
Okay. So kind of a behind the scenes kind of guy that has the true power, is what you're saying.
I don't know. Well, I don't know.
So you're
It's
talking
hard.
shite.
Well, he's in my guild. He's in
Okay,
my
he's
guild.
in your
He's my
guild.
guild.
Okay.
He's in my guild. He's somewhat important on my guild. He has a role.
Sauber says they need to tell us what to maybe expect this year. Up to an extent. They're not going to go they're going to go through probably May, like upcoming ideas and themes for May the 4th and things that they do for that and things of that nature. But they're not going to announce like the new capital ship. They're not, although we're pretty much suspecting it's going to be separatists with the way things are going, and trenches in the game and things of that nature. So, and they're not going to tell us about the new GL. But they will tell us about new characters and ideas and things and maybe quality of life. So there'll be some good juicy stuff in there,
I
but they're
think
not
they
going to go that
do.
far out.
I think with the problems in GAC and TW, I think they do need to at least give us what their solution might be. They need to either
Sure.
start to implement it or at least tell us, right,
This
we're
is our
working
thoughts.
on it
Yeah.
and we'll get back, look out for April or look out for May or,
Sure.
what I mean? Like, I think they at least need to give us some of that. I think if they don't give us a solution to that and it's just a deafening silence and it's more, look, we're just going to give you more characters, I think it would be a little bit of a miss, but we'll see when it comes out.
All right. Let's see here. Hey, Ian. Says, hey, everybody. Hope you're doing well, Ranger. Hope you are doing well, Ian. Glad to have you here. Link says, Relic 10 is due. It's been on the horizon for a long time now. Yeah, and as I said, it's Relic 10 is just one of those things where it's a game-changing thing to do, right? Plus, you got to figure out the stats and everything associated with it. It's going to change how the raid would work. It was going to change how TB would work, right? Um, so it's super complicated to be in. I just don't think until the end of the year, Relic 10, when if they are going to introduce Relic 10, it makes more sense for when if they're going to expand, like you said, TB and the new raid to make that a part of it, right? And then gives them time to start implementing that stuff for Relic 9. Because if you're going to push the everyone to Relic 10, you know, you got to give people time to digest it, be prepared for it, know that it's coming in the raid, that kind of thing. So you don't want to just drop it and say, well, sorry guys, man, deal with it. Say, man, it's like, okay.
There's two ways to do it. I mean, normally in the past, they've actually brought out a new currency for a new relic level. I don't know whether they'll do that, but normally if they do that, they tend to like to drop that new currency into a new event, like a new raid or a new planet or a new something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think but it is possible they just reuse the Relic 9 materials and then just put them in more places. So basically you need
Possibly.
twice as much Relic 9 to get to Relic 10 effectively. But you can get it in more places, or it's more affordable. It appears in a shop or something.
I mean, yeah, they're going to try to, they should try to make money off that. But yeah, but it's got to be smartly laid out. And if you give people time to know that it's coming, then they start thinking, okay, it changes their pattern, getting ready for it. And then, you know, if they know a little bit about it, they can plan and maybe even spend if they want to spend for Relic 10. Because, you know, the Krakens will always spend. But
You
you're trying to
can.
entice those, you know, dolphins and
The
smaller whales to have somewhat of encouragement to say, I'll spend a few bucks just to get some Relic 10s for the upcoming thing. But I mean, if it's so inaccessible and so stupid, you know, like Relic 9 has been, then they're just gonna be like, I don't care. You're not gonna make me do anything. I'm not gonna spend. I'll slow this down, right? And you know, I mean the community just won't have it, you know. So and then
Well, they were super. I mean, they were super stingy on the caps on currency,
yeah,
both for the new raid rewards and also for that thing we have with the Galactic Legends. You know, that monthly kind of thing where you can take in one Galactic Legend, you get 200 points or 400 points. They're super stingy on that one at 10,000. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of the mats end up going in there. And to get to Relic 10, you need to have a GL. You need to take it into that event. You need to get your, legend token. Yeah, thank you, Linky. Yeah, like so they've purposely put caps on it so nobody can literally stock up. You can't stock. So I can see them using those shops more for this sort of exclusive stuff because nobody can have 30,000 of those or whatever because it's capped out.
yeah. I mean, you know, Relic 9 for me, it's just not a priority. I mean, I am going to be doing some Relic 9s here, and I have done some, right? Mainly Relic 8s. I'm relicing the shit out of stuff right now because really Relic 9 also is not as important for most of your characters. It just isn't. It doesn't do anything really. It adds a few little things, but your tanks, your GLs, of course, you want to try to get Relic 9 on. And then you have some requirements like with the, you know, Revan and Malgus and then, you know, Radis. You know, there's characters that have to have Relic 9 for the ships and other things. And then your tanks, you know, those are the tanks get a huge buff with Relic 9s and makes them really awesome. But they're hard to get, you know, even if you're trying to concentrate, because the other part of that people forget about Relic 9 is that you basically are doing Relic 8 twice and add in an additional piece is the way I look at Relic 9. You have to have the impulse detectors to get to Relic 8 and then the same stuff, impulse detectors to do Relic 9 plus, oh, by the way, this new Relic 9 material. So yeah, it's a lot, and that's why I'm saying if you're going to do Relic 10, you better have a plan in place and have the community prepared for it. You can't be doing surprise mechanics and just dropping that shit, and saying, "Oh, by the way," because oh boy, because I'm just gonna look at it like if they did that, I'd be like, "I'll get it when I get it." You know, I'm not gonna go ham for it. So you know, Ian says, crazy to see how much changes there's been in the last few years. Yeah, there's been a lot of changes, my friend. A lot of changes. Linky question, with all the new shits being released, do we almost have enough GP to max out Lightside GTB now in the top end guilds? I still think we need another fleet fully, like we were looking at that the other day, even with the last fleet that was introduced, right? We still need a whole new fleet with GP. I think we're still like a million still off from that being maxed. And that would be an entirely new fleet and ships and everything to even come close to that number. It's a ridiculous number to max out Lightside GOTV. So yeah. Math correct, because I think it was like 2 million fleet was needed from the top end guilds with everything maxed out to even get close to that. Then we got Leviathan last year, so that knocked out some of that GP, but I still think we need 1 or 2 more fleets to get close to the GP that would be required from that. It's a stupid number, but they made it a stupid number because they didn't want people completing it like they did with the previous TB. So what are you going to do? I don't even think people give a shit anymore about Lightside TV for like stars. It's like, even for the accomplishment, I guess maybe one day you go back and just do it. But I mean, you're really screwing yourself with all the rewards you get from the new TB with the stars you can get in that. So I don't know. I mean, if the rewards were close, maybe I'll just to go back and do that if once we do have enough GP. But it's like, it's kind of like, you know, World of Warcraft. You go back and do a raid that you did way back in the day, but you're just doing it for the nostalgia if you don't give a shit about the rewards, just to say you did it. But
And
yourself.
you can't go back for just feats or just for fun. You have to go back, you know, as an entire guild and
Yeah.
do it. I mean, yeah, it's just yeah, I understand. I mean, lots of people are collectors in this game and like to max out all the achievements and stuff like that, but I think we're still miles off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Nathaniel Morgan Rangers World's First Relic 10 ETH Koth. Please go drink bleach. Darkside, I recently put Relic 9 on GK. My fleet holds have gone up since. So yeah, once you get a Relic 9 on like a tank like GK, one, he's a tank, so that really makes him beefy. Two, he has a fleet. You know, anybody that's a tank that has a ship should be also a priority for Relic 9 because you get the benefit of the ship and you get the benefit of the tank and the character in your squad, which, you know, it's really nice. It's really nice. You get a double benefit of it. It's like Boss Relic 9. Really makes your Houndtooth beefy and annoying as shit with that when you hit Relic 9 with Boss. Nice to have. But, you know, it's a luxury. It'd be nice if we had more that we could pop Relic 9 on, but it's got to be very... It's like Omicron. So you got to be specific with who you go for.
I do like your strategy, Ranger, of just working on the Relic 8s. I'd rather have 2 or 3 Relic 8s than 1 Relic 9. I mean, I am about to Relic 9 my GML as well, but that's just because he's going to become more into an offensive character and kind of work better in that space. So he's, you know, I can't see anyone else I'd work on. I'd still be, like you say, at the Relic 8s. I like the offensive characters more. So I think I'll find myself kind of doing things like Star Killer and things like that. So
yeah, I mean, getting these characters to Relic 8, especially your offensive power. Like I took Bo-Katan Mandalore immediately to Relic 8, right? Now, there are exceptions to the Relic 9 rule. Like Darth Bane, you need to take the Relic 9 because he shares the stats and things with C. That's going to make a big difference. And so he's like, I'll leave C at 8, but I'm taking Darth Bane to Relic 9. You bet your ass I am. So he's an exception to the rule, but I don't even know how many Relic 9s I have. I have to go count it. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6,
I have
7,
3,
8,
about to be 4.
9, 10. I've done 10? I've been really stingy with that shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there's
they aren't as useful. I mean, the issue is, yes, you have a better defensive character, but in a world of stacking offense, it doesn't matter as much. You know, things that you can absolutely wipe through any Relic 9. I mean, Fennec Shan will still kill an R9 Lord Vader.
Yeah, Relic 8.
You know, yeah, even at Relic 7 or even Relic 5, she just hits them. You know, it's so I actually don't find Relic 9 as valuable as Relic 8, if I'm honest, in a weird way.
Yeah,
it doesn't quite appear, you know.
Yeah, certain characters like GLs, like, Rey, JML for sure, Leia, those are characters that are GLs, and, Relic 9 is amazing, right? And certain tanks and other characters are great to have Relic 9, but it's like, yeah, Relic 8 is the ticket right now. And for my guild, we're progressing into phase 4, phase 5 of stars for the TB. It makes sense to have more Relic 8s for operations first, then we're not even close to sniffing, 5 and 6 for Relic 9s for operations yet. So I'd rather have us have a horde of Relic 8s that we can go through and get extra stars that way. Then once you get to that progression, then once that changes, then we get to Relic 9 and then we can start pushing other things. But yeah, for right now, it's like, no. I don't, yes, Linky, but I'm still taking him the Relic 9. Jack Daniels, are Reva's Relic 9 bonuses broken? Yeah, they're still broken. That's one character I would love to take the Relic 9, but the reason I didn't take her to 9 is because her shit's broken still. So it's all still jacked up. So yeah, like
was she given the wrong tag, do you think? I mean, like, was she just not ever meant to be a tank? I think
she was. She's very tanky. It's just that whatever they did with the stats or whatever happens with her, it's all jacked up, and they haven't I don't think they still fixed it. I mean, I asked Garth recently, and it's still not correct.
But it would be so easy to fix. You just kind of apply it.
You would think, right?
I mean, I can understand it taking a month or two, but it's been a year.
I have no idea if it's because of her kit and because she gets revived.
I just think they don't want to. I just think they don't want to. I think the case is probably Reva wasn't meant to be a tank. She was meant to be an attacker or something like that, and therefore
her Relic 9 bonus is health and not protection.
Yeah, it's the wrong way around.
But as intended, that's silly. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that, but the reason and I don't need to. I mean, I go in there with my Relic 8, Inquisitors, and go stomp the shit out of JMK and stuff when I get a chance because it's so good, man. Not recently because of the stupid scoundrel cron that you can't revive, so that makes it difficult. But we've used Inquisitors. That's how good that team is. We've kicked the shit out of Leia teams because once you get that death mark rolling, man, that team just starts nuking, dude.
We expect her to be the new Leia counter.
I don't think you're gonna see Leia on defense that much anymore. I mean, now that the cron's gone, now she is a liability on defense.
I think we'll see it for a week or two till people realize that she's no longer
you don't
want to
put her on defense. Yeah, because you're just anything will beat that. Even with the new crons, there's just nothing there that stacking wise or anything like that just makes me go, nah, I'm not going to put that on there. I mean, the Drogon cron made a big difference, and she became what they said she wouldn't, which is a defensive team. But even then, now that once that came in, then we got the Boushh cron, which just eats it alive. The Boushh cron just destroys Leia. And then you got the No Scoundrel Revive cron with the JNK team that can do incredible work, right? Because that one character like Drogon can't come back. You're just slowly just picking the team apart. And there's other combinations of teams with like Malicos and things that people have used on it. So yeah, with the current cron setup, I just think Leia, with what's out there, it's just not going to be as strong on defense. And I probably want to keep her for offense, right? But we'll see. We've said that before, and then the crons came out with with all this deflection and stuff. We'll see what happens. Her revive mechanic makes her a tank. It sounds like a misunderstood communication. I don't know what it is, but leave Reva at 8, folks, is basically the gist of the story. Well, I don't think there's cheap counters. Like, yeah, using bow is not a cheap counter. You've got to have that team high relic to go do work against Lord Vader and stuff. Somewhat decently modded and geared for that team, and it's a big investment on relics, mods, and yeah, it can. But the cheap counters like Star Killer versus Rey depends on the cron. Like the success rate you're going to have makes the fight a hell of a lot more difficult. It can still work, but we've seen that when that had that stacking defense and shit that with these crons, when they got 300% defense on Rey and stacking defense, it can get ugly real quick, right? What were the other ones? Inquisitors versus Kenobi is a hard counter, but that's not the case right now because of the no revive cron. Because if you can beat it, but if Ahsoka gets loose and takes out Reva, you're boned. You are boned. It's stuff like that. So yeah, there are cheap counters, but it depends on the cron and the abilities that, and you use that cheap counter. It's like Bounty Hunters versus Lord Vader. Lord Vader. It depends on the cron, and the team makeup. If you got Lord Vader with the right cron and that team's, you can try to take Bounty Hunters in there. Good luck.
I do. I mean, I agree with Jack Daniels actually at heart of his point. I think the point he's making is that because we now have more and more teams on offense,
Yeah.
that it is coming more and more common to clear the board, meaning that actually ships are becoming an ever more influential decider. If you don't cheese them and put down 3 rubbish fleets or very low slips, increasingly it is
Ships are
becoming
horrible.
true. But I think the point is that ships are actually becoming now the GAC definer or the GAC differential
Pretty
maker
much.
far more than they should be because of the current board, the current changes. So yeah, I do agree with Jet Downs. I think he's got a point. I mean, I don't think it's really about relatively cheap counters. It's more the quantity of counters.
Yeah.
Like, one counter might fail, but it'll kill 2 people. So it's easy to kill the entire fleet the next time. So, and you've got enough in the bank to do that. So I think I agree. I agree that fleets are becoming more and more and more the more and more and more the relevant factor.
Well, the problem with fleets is that it's just an RNG fest, and it's becoming more of an RNG fest. Like I lost my last round of GAC because Profundity didn't do a thing. I used Profundity because they put what was it, Leviathan, Executor, and I think Negotiate. It was 3 strong fleets, right? So I've got the counters, but it's all about the RNG. If you get dodge, and they don't assist, which I didn't get hardly any assist in that counter, I won, but I lost 10 banners. Guess what? I lost by 9 banners. It's like one of those things where ships can outright screw you on banners if you get the wrong RNG, or you can lose. I have lost Profundity fights against Executive Triple Lineup because I didn't get any calls and assists, or the ship dodges, when you go for it. Those kind of things where it's like, I don't mind losing because, shit can happen, but it's a consistent thing. If something goes wrong in ships, you're in trouble. That's the big thing. And it's either going to cost you a ton of banners if you win, or you're just going to lose and be in big trouble, right? So it's one of those things.
But you are possibly winning as many GACs as you're losing.
Well, yeah, it's happening to them. Yeah,
it's happened to them as well. So it is more of it's a randomizer rather than, oh my god, I'm the only one that gets dodged. No, the opponent gets dodged and they lose as well. It is an interesting thing. I think ships and ship strategy is becoming more and more important, and also understanding if there is a dodge, how do you get out of the match by doing enough damage or sniping a ship? Sometimes instead of trying to win the entire match, you're basically just trying to kill anyone, and not try and go down the fixed route of right, I want to win this match. He's kind of changed to right, well, I can kill that person, so I'll do that. So it is a subtle change, but yeah, it is probably now the more important. It's getting more important than people, than the characters.
Yeah, and all the things we talk about with newer players, I'm like, great, you're working on this GL. What's your fleet? You got to work on a fleet because that's where you get crystals, and that's going to be a big thing. And ships will matter in GAC as you climb up more than your teams will, because they can get through your teams, but they don't have ships. You just boned them, So it's important to work, on your GLs, on these big characters. You need to work on those teams, but tie it into a ship. If you're going to go first order, then do work on the first order fleet. If you're going to go for Palpatine first, or C, I'm sorry. Then work on Executor. That'll get you into Bounty Hunters and Empire. You got to think about a ship as part of your farm as a newer and mid-tier player. What can you're going to farm characters, but yeah, you're going for GL, but what can you tie in with ships to get that fleet up and running? And just work on both those at the same time. You can work on ships and farming ships at the same time as that you're working on your team of characters that you're working on for anything else. So what else? 3 says, don't fret everyone, CG will bring back crazy defense Jetacron just like they brought back dodge, even if it's called deflection. Yeah, but I don't, we're going to have to see how the deflection, as I said, the last set had a lot of accuracy in it. And I was wondering why they had all that crap in there. And I've got tons of those mods with, crazy special accuracy or this kind of accuracy and things of that nature. So I'm going to be interested to see those crons versus these deflection crons and what's going to be the RNG on it, right? I don't think this is like the last dodge meta we had previously, where the two sets that really were horrible was you had defensive crons with crazy dodge. So it made it almost impossible to try to kill things, or you get timed out a lot because you just couldn't kill them. You couldn't hit them. Even, and they didn't have accuracy on the other stuff, because what I had to do, and it helped, but it still made some of the matches crazy, is put accuracy on Finnick when I would do Lord Vader, but it'd be like dodge, deflect, or, hit. But then the damage wouldn't be that much. So it's like, Jesus Christ. So we don't want that, but I don't think the deflection is going to be as bad as people are thinking. Because even if you roll a mod or Datacron and re-roll it, which you'll see what the Krakens do, that's 100%, I think, is the max you can get. So I think it's going to be okay. I just don't think it's going to be, it may have an annoying thing here and there depending on what cron you're running, but I don't see it being as bad as that previous dodge and, the defense with that 15% protection starting at the beginning, like we saw in those Java teams and other stuff of that nature, where it's like, Christ almighty, where you're getting 4 or 5 minute fights, GMK versus Java, because they got all that defense and protection, and then you couldn't quite kill them at the end in the last second, and then you got to clean up on aisle 5 on Java. I don't think the stats are going to be that crazy on it. I don't know how you feel about the deflection, but I don't think it's going to be as bad as people think.
I didn't mind the dodge. To be honest, it wasn't as bad for me. I think I fight people that don't tend to re-roll or gamble their crons. So most of the people I'll face at the bottom of Kyber 1, top of Kyber 2, these people just kind of have what they get. So rather than having the ridiculous levels of dodge that maybe you see rare Datacrons in, they tend to have more normal ones. And so the dodge meta wasn't too bad for me. Deflection, it's like anything, it's going to take a bit of time to get used to. I am worried. I do think that Lord Vader will need a different counter than Fennec Shan.
Yeah, you're going to go harder on that with like a SLKR or something along those lines.
But then with Leia moving, but then
JML,
my Dr. Aphra kind of smoked Lord Vader last time as well with the Afracron. So it may well be that Dr. Aphra moves off Jabba and moves across, or we're about to get Leia potentially onto offense again. So Leia might be these things as well. We'll see. I don't think. Yeah, I'm not that bothered.
Usually in threes, no matter what the Lord Vader team is, and I've gone away from the bounty hunters. I'll use them in fives, but not threes. But if they got Maul and Thrawn in there, I'm gonna go with SLKR and Wad and just go in there and armor and do my thing.
Yeah, I've been super. I'm
not gonna take any chances with it.
I mean, I feel as though they've changed the AI of Lord Vader. They do tend to fracture BAM very quickly and go straight after Fennec Shan. There does seem to be, for me personally, they do seem to have kind of changed maybe how the AI might approach the battle or who they might target. Or you just face more and more Lord Vaders with specifically that Thrawn type lineup. So Thrawn and Maul. So, but yeah, not that bothered.
Choo, the engineers join us. Says, what have I missed? And hello there. We're just doing the SWGOH talk on a Saturday like we always do. Hanging out with you guys. Linky says, CG nearly got me with that Jawa Sandcrawler deal. All that stuff for a tenner. Turns out it's a chance to get one of them. Yeah, you got to be careful of those gamble packs. I just will not encourage people 90% of the time, if it's any kind of gambling where you don't have a guaranteed drop of what you're purchasing, I mean, if you got the discretionary income, then sure, then you don't care. But yeah, what am I getting tagged with here in Discord? Flatty,
I would say take them out of the game. We don't need, of all the money you're making, you don't need to be doing something as shady as a pack that looks like you're getting a lot, but then it's an actual kind of, and then it's a gamble pack. It's like, for them, they're working a great game, they're launching great characters, they've got all these mechanics to get money or crystals out of people. They don't need to do shady stuff like try and get a false purchase from someone thinking they're going to get more. I mean, I've seen it a lot of times where I look at something that's in a pack and I think, wow, I'm getting all of these characters. So I get really excited, but then it's not until you click the button to notice it is a chance of getting one of the things that is listed. For me, a little bit shady. I wish they wouldn't do it at all. I don't think it's fair. I think if somebody's spending money, it shouldn't be a gamble.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I hate it. Yeah, surprise mechanics. I hate it. And then I discourage players from buying those packs. If you got the money, you don't give a shit, then you go do you, baby. But I really try to tell players, yeah, don't buy that. You know, go for the guarantees. When it says you get 50 of this and 50 of that, then like, yeah, go get that pack. That's really good. But when it doesn't have that guarantee, it's like, if you want to gamble, sure. But just be aware that most of the time the percentages are way against you. And so, yeah, don't do it. Desi Jingle Schnarfs here. Hello, Desi Jingle Schnarfs. Says, good morning, skewers. Good morning, Aldi darling. Linky, you're safe. Don't run. Linky says, you really need to read the pack stuff because the pop-up looked like you would get eyes behind a rock from Desi. No, Desi's not going to get you. No, Desi Jingle
I would also say, we recently had it with a Comeuppance pack. There was a Comeuppance pack for 1,200 crystals, where you effectively got on average about 7 shards or something. But 1,200 crystals worth of refreshes, even at 400s, would got you about 4 times the amount you would have got in that pack. So that pack was like so predatory. And anyone that bought that pack, well, I mean, I understand people might want to buy 1 or 2 to kind of close a gap, but the value of that pack was so much worse.
Yeah.
As even was the $30 pack than actually just getting it through Conquest on the Comeuppance. So it's when you see things like that, you're like, that's a bit much. That should have a warning on it.
Yeah, and so, you know, just this, if somebody asks you, you know, if they have the discretionary income, then buy whatever you like. If you want to gamble, go for it, right? But I mean, for those that are trying to be, you know, more conscious about what's good, and you know, and we see a lot of new players in our streams that are asking, "What about this pack?" I'm like, "Don't buy that shit. And if you got the money, you don't care, then buy it. You know, maybe you get lucky,
Well,
right? But if you don't, I mean, be efficient with what you're spending on, right? And if it's a guarantee, and you get certain things from it, then yes, by all means, go get that if you want to spend the money. But those are good packs. We've seen good packs from CG. They're worth investing in, especially because it gets you more stuff, but lowers the time that you're spending working on that, right? So, yeah.
I mean, I think that we have. I mean, in the UK, when I go and buy alcohol, they're forced in the supermarket to put a per liter cost, so that they can't muck about with comparing stuff on different pack sizes and stuff. And I really think that would be kind of what they need, like per shard. Okay, this will cost you 56 crystals per shard on average.
Yeah.
Type thing. And then this other source will cost you 20 crystals per shard. And you know, I don't know. I just think there's a mysticalness to it, which that's why these things, like shows like this and other communities and people chatting in Discord, really are valuable, because people pointing out, oh God, no, that pack isn't a waste. Because if I bought something like that Jawa pack, I'd be disappointed, but I wouldn't go to the point of trying to get the money back and trying to get a refund. I wouldn't go to that extent. So I would essentially have lost the money.
Yep. So, all right, get your questions in. Let's see here. Ray Rock, what all this is trying to say, things that make you go, that's right. Here's how it started. Just an example of how another brother can tramples. You know, little CNC factory. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Things that make you go, All right. Sleep with your wife, ruin your life. Yeah, things that make you go.
So I did get the Comeuppance to 7 stars just with refreshes.
I didn't. The drop rate was too trash for me. I got it 6 stars, and I'm like, good enough. You know?
I got really high drop rates.
I had the opposites.
I don't know why. Yeah,
I was getting 1s and 2s, and I was like, fuck this. I was like, I'm done again. Again, if I get a decent drop rate overall, and I'm getting good drop rates, I'll pop the 200s. But you know, when I'm getting ones and twos, like, no, I'm not doing this, and I'm just not playing this game. You know, I'll save my crystals for other things. I'll just like I do with the Marauder. I'll have you at 6 stars, something a certain amount, and then I'll finish it
Well,
off with
I
the
do
farm.
think I do think it'll go farmable soon.
What?
Like when you look at the Marauder, they actually put it almost immediately, or they maybe waited a couple of months, but it did go farmable far sooner than I expected. So I
Sure.
think we'll see the same with this one. I think this will go farmable soon as well. But
Yeah.
yeah,
And that ship, I mean, it's okay. It's decent, but it's not like these other ships we've had. If you have it at 5 stars is really all you need it, because it's a reinforcement ship. It's going to come in and do its thing, and that's all you need it for. If you have it at 5 stars, then you're fine.
well, it's not going to come in and do its thing because the other 3 ships you started with will be dead by that point.
Probably, yeah.
I mean,
So
it's
I
like
mean,
it is still. I mean, that is the fundamental problem of the ship is that it is a reinforcement. There's no way to reduce the cooldown on the reinforcement, so you're forced to put out 3 of these terrible resistance ships that really don't last. Like you're going to lose at least 1 or 2 of them before the thing even gets in the board. It isn't the greatest ship ever.
I mean, we've seen it can beat Executor, it can beat 1 or 2 other fleets, which is fine, but I mean, it's not worth getting 7 stars on. I mean, if you did, great, but I mean, if you have it at 5 or 6 stars, you'll be fine because you can finish it up just like Marauder. I'm almost done with the Marauder farm, and then I'll pop by the time I'm done with Marauder with a hard node farm, and I'm most likely going to be another ship hard node farm for this one. I'll be like, okay, it could be surprise, it could be Cantina, you never know, but I'm going to be like, okay. You know, I got it
Oh,
at
it's
6
another. I mean,
stars.
like I say, yeah, I got it 7 stars, so but it's just another ship to clean up. I don't think I would
Yeah.
really go. I don't think it's ever going to get in the principal lineup
It's
of
definitely
initial counters.
it's not definitely in the vein of Defender, man. That ship was game
Uh,
changing, right? You know, when that ship was introduced, it was like, holy God, that thing flipped Executor and Executrix on its head. It's like, oh my God, this ship is incredible. Same thing with
I mean,
Marauder with the Galactic Republic fleet. That's like, holy God, right? But yeah, this
uh,
ship's not in that vein, in my opinion.
that's why in my opinion, that's why I think there's another resistance ship coming. I think at some point in the next six
Think so?
months,
Yeah, could.
there's something missing from that fleet. You know, like you say, the TIE Defender or the Marauder elevated those teams up to being absolutely brilliant, whereas this Comeuppance just didn't. It just made it slightly better. So, in my opinion, I expect there to be another resistance ship coming of some
Oh,
sort. No,
sure.
maybe not soon, but I expect them to have a plan, and that plan could be 12 months away. But
We'll see.
I think we'll see another one. But yeah, I don't
You're
think it's
not,
finished.
yeah, you're not putting this ship on defense as a cleanup fleet that, you know, if you have something boo boo caca doo doo happen with one of your other fleets, you go in there with that fleet and, you know, do good work. So it is what it is. So yeah, don't worry about the comeuppance. Little disappointed. I thought it'd be a little bit more powerful because, you know, for resistance. I mean, it does good work, but not at the level I was kind of expecting. And maybe that's on me for the expectation. But I'm like, you're going to make a ship like that, you know, help my brother
It
out here a
just
little bit.
seems. I mean, I see Linky and Rayrock both on the same space. A Ray Red 5 would make sense. Even just something. I mean, like I
They
think
got it
we're
there before they put Red 5 with her. I think they're going to do Red 5 for because the team
look.
because someone asked me what's the weakest fleet right now. I'm like, honestly, Akbar needs some love, man. That fleet got gutted because of profundity, and we need some more rebel ships like A Wings, B Wings,
If
Red
yeah,
5, you know, just to beef that team up. I mean, you know, it's like it needs 1 or 2 more ships, and their goal is to get the 5
ignoring
ships.
Mace.
So
Yeah,
yeah, so
ignoring Mace. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, you're right. I think. Yeah, I don't think the lad looks Red 5. I don't know. I don't know. But I don't know what it'll be. But I feel as though that ship is still that fleet's still missing something for me. It still for me is about the 6th or 7th or 8th fleet in the game,
yeah.
which just isn't enough to ever get used.
No, because you're going to go with your power teams in the beginning and counters that you know for fleets. And because there's 3 fleets, you put your 3 on defense, you have your 3 for your counters and stuff for offense. And then you've got First Order and you got Rada sitting there and a leftover Akbar team to go, you know, clean up anything you have to deal with. But But that's what those are there for. Yeah, they can take on certain teams in offense, but why would you use them? If I've got Leviathan Profundity in my Executor Defender team, then I know what it does and can get 70 banners, 75 banners. I'm going to go with that. I'm not going to risk, Radis, or First Order, which you can use. If push comes to shove and you got to use it, you got to use it, so, but those are secondary ships. Good in the early game, mid-tier game to have those fleets. They'll do good work for you, but not like, not like these mainstay, man. Good Lord. Felix, what's going on? Says, do you also think that Disney has a say in how strong fleet or characters, I think you meant are? It's like First Order fleet is supposed to be stronger, and everything they release just underlines that. I don't think Disney has any say on like mechanics of games. I mean, they have some say on release of characters that they can bring into the game and stuff like that, but like not on like what the thing does in the game. That's more, I think, Capital Games' control, right? Because they have to balance the game. I don't think Disney has anything like, well, you have to do this ship and it has to do this and this fleet. No, I don't think so. They'll say you can use this ship and or character for the game, but then CG has to figure out, okay, we have access to this, but where do we want to use it? Again, Karth always makes this point. You have all these characters, but CG has to look at it from their perspective, like, but how does that function for what team and what kind of character is it? is it a tank? What's the team? What's the team strategy? Same thing with fleets. It's got to make sense for them to bring it in. So I don't know what you think. I think Disney has power over when they have access to all the characters and things of that nature. But outside of that, I don't think they have any input on like the actual game.
I think someone at Disney needs to approve the artwork. We saw that recently with the Comeuppance artwork from Mr. Meathead.
Jesus.
Which I thought was a genius move. But I do think, honestly, I think Disney approved the artwork. I think Disney probably approved the names of things. And probably, I mean, there is no way that they could suddenly call one of the abilities something awful or something offensive or something that so there had not that they ever would, but I do think Disney have a sort of a sign off on the lore stuff, the images, the rights, and all of that stuff. Because I guess Disney do own the rights to the picture of the Comeuppance or the picture of Zori
the
Bliss.
likeness and
The
all
likeness
the properties.
and
they have the property, but when they give the Capital Games, like, here you go. What do you need?
I often think, I mean, my impression of Capital Games, I'm just making this up, but my impression of Capital Games is that they kind of work from both ends. Sometimes somebody says, right, I need a fifth character for a Hut Cartel team, and somebody else says on the other side, right, we could put Skiffguard Lando in there, and they kind of work towards a sort of a common goal of the final kit, which is sensitive to both the character but I do think sometimes when they start that path, maybe sometimes you realize, oh my God, this isn't going to work mechanically. Let's make up a Drogon and we'll make it work better. So I do think sometimes they kind of work from both sides, in my opinion. And sometimes they maybe have a hole in the squad, like, right, we need another resistance ship, and they have a bit of a brainstorm what it could be. But sometimes maybe they even have the kit designed, and it's because we've seen in the past, I mean, obviously you were a tester back then, but we've seen in the past things like Gamorrean Guard being added into the data mines because it was a placeholder. And I can imagine in the very early testing of things, maybe before the testing or the official testers, there was a Gamorrean Guard that was doing all of the abilities while they tested out the mechanics and the...
Yeah, there was always... we would usually, and I can say this, as a tester, we would get the kits a lot of times before the final digital artwork and stuff was done. That happened a lot. So we would have placeholders, for like, this is the new kit for so-and-so, but we don't have the new character model ready. So test the kit out and then let us know what you think of the kit itself without seeing the actual artwork or
Visuals,
things,
yeah.
the visuals for it. So yeah, that happened quite a lot.
So
So
I do think that's what makes me think they kind of work from both sides. Is they've got one person designing the perfect character with the right mechanics, and then they have somebody else maybe trying to fit lore on it. And sometimes it's retrospective, sometimes it's both together as a
yeah.
team. But that's my impression. That's my impression.
Exo, wasn't it Finnick that they wanted a single fire higher damage output or something like that before they told them who she was? No, that was what's her name from Bad Batch?
Omega.
Omega. Yeah, they knew that, but they didn't know anything else. So yeah. What else? Answer your question. I'm still waiting for them to offer us meathead skin for our Comeuppance ship. I'd much prefer that orc just for nostalgia. Yes, the good old. Oh my god. But yeah, they didn't because weren't told about Omega ahead of time. They had the Bad Batch, right? And they knew that they needed a fifth on that team, but they didn't know what was going to happen with the other character, and then that Omega was coming in was going to be the mainstay and not the
Crosshair. Yeah.
So that flipped things for them. They knew they needed the damage output, right? So it turned out to be Omega, who they didn't know about, or that what was going to happen in the show, that Crosshair was going to go evil, and go through his journey. So yeah, sometimes that happens, but you know, then you adjust, right? You know, CG has the whiteboard. They have certain projects and things that they have up on the board. Sometimes that can change. Murphy's Law applies. All right. So you can have all the best laid plans, but shit's going to happen that's going to change your plans. And then you have to flip the script and work from a different perspective than, all right, Linky, it's been out for a long time. That's years, dude. Just lick my balls. All right. Spoilers, my ass. Okay, Linky. He's feigning, you know, like I've revealed pertinent information. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I do think there is a synergistic, even closer these days. You know, I do understand what Felix is talking about how sometimes they launch a character, but bear in mind that CG have tailored post-launch some characters. You know, SOKR had a number of tweaks, and every so often they'll launch somebody and it'll go, okay, this isn't quite as good as we expected. So even with all the design and testing in the world, when something's eventually launched and it suddenly gets out there in the world, they do still have the ability to kind of, okay, we're not working as intended, we'll have a wee tweak of it. But yeah, I can see what you mean on the Reva thing. But I think I think they knew that Reva existed when they added the Grand Inquisitors or Inquisitorius team in. They would have known that Reva was a strong potential. So in my opinion, on the Reva thing, I think Third Sister was already in the works when they started working on the Inquisitorius faction. Even though we didn't actually know about her until the series, and then she was put in TV, etc. I think she was always designed for that team. So I don't think that was a Disney thing as much as CG having that plan all along.
Yeah. And we don't know the exact kind of communication that goes on with that. You know, I mean, I have somewhat, but I'm really not going to, you know, I don't have the full picture, so it would be kind of pointless to talk about, you know? So, yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things, you know? So we'll maybe one day we'll know, maybe we'll get a documentary on it or something, or someone will do a video, but until then, yeah, we don't really know the extent, but I mean, just look, we know some things and we can kind of figure out some things, but outside of that, you know, it's a lot of it's speculation. Like what?
Well, that's why the artwork was great. That's why the artwork was great from Meathead, in that it was another one of these little kind of like window into what we don't know.
Right.
And also sometimes when StarWars.com will actually announce a character before,
right?
Like you start to see kind of maybe the connection, the disconnection between the two companies or three companies, including EA. And those are the things I actually found fascinating. They don't spoil my enjoyment of the game. I really enjoy those quirkinesses. And yeah.
Sure. Great way of putting it. Little quirky. Little quirky. Yeah, it's Linky. Everybody's fine. We're all fine here. Everybody in the Bad Batch is fine. No one's had any health-related issues. So it's all good, but it's going to be okay, bud. It's going to be okay. But yeah, I mean, Spoilers.
Okay,
You haven't seen the.
wait till Linky finds out who Luke's father is. It will blow his mind.
Oh, who knew it was Obi-Wan Kenobi the entire
He'll be
time?
off. He'll be so surprised.
Well, the big stink hubbub has been if you haven't seen the Bad Batch season 3 trailer. Spoilers, Linky. Asajj is back, and which I was like, huh. I'm pretty sure I read Dark Acolyte or Dark Disciple, and I'm pretty sure she died. So, but someone said, "Does that?" I don't want to watch because it puts me off. I'm like, why? Let's see how they if it's not going to be a retcon. Last time I checked, she was a Night Sister. They tend to come back from the dead a lot, you know. I mean, as long as it makes sense, you know, when you're dealing with a world where the Force exists, which leads to many abilities some considered to be unnatural. You know, I don't mind it as long as it makes sense. Now she just shows up and is like, "Hey, I've been around the whole time." I'm like, no, you died in a canon book, right? So you may need to explain that one to the fans. Like, there's got to be some kind of story element to that. But I'm excited to see her come in. I think, you know, anytime you can bring a character in, like, you know, I'm all for it. But as long as the story makes sense, right? And if the story, if she just pops in, it's like, doop, 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 I'm gonna be like, it's cool to have her, but
Yeah,
it happened. You know, last time I knew about Asajj Ventress, she had shit the bed. You know, she had made the ultimate sacrifice. Which seems in line with what she is now, because she's got from that series the yellow lightsaber. That's profound. Because I was looking for these small little details, like what lights she's carrying a yellow lightsaber. That's from the book, right? There's all this stuff, you know. That's I'm like, okay, you've intrigued me, you know. And I think Bad Batch is a perfect opportunity to bring someone like her in now, right? Because there are a bunch of scoundrels now. It's their life, right? So
we have had. I would say one of the small complaints that I have about Dave Filoni or the recent Star Wars stuff, they do the "you're dead, oh no you're not" a lot. I mean, ignoring Sith Eternal Emperor obviously, but we also had Grand Inquisitor die. Fennec Shand quite clearly died. Was Fennec Shand and then came back.
well, they were, yeah, but I mean, like Fennec was mortally wounded. I don't know if she was dead, but you know, she had to get cyborg parts. The Grand Inquisitor one was just like
Maul got cut in half and got legs. Yeah. We also had Chewie that died in story in there. Didn't die, but he got blown up in a ship, but didn't. You know, I don't know. They're doing it a lot. At the moment, and they're relying on clones and weird ones. So for me, there's a little bit of a please stop doing that quite so much.
Yeah, I don't think if you're gonna kill a character off, then kill the character off, right? It has impact. You know, like you can say whatever you want for episode 7, but when Han bit the dust, man, that was impactful, right? You know, to see that happen and the reaction to it, and he stayed dead. Yeah, he had that moment with Ben and 9, but that was a more powerful moment because more like a vision kind of thing, right?
He's dead at the moment. I'm sure he'll be in episode
maybe
10.
He comes back, you know. Somehow he survived the fall like Palpatine's like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think they're doing it way too much, and I think it's
But I think what's happening with Filoni is they're doing all these other storylines outside of what he does, and then he's like, no, that's a cool character. You know, screw that crap. You know, I mean, he's like, I'm gonna, you know, and Filoni. What I love about Filoni is he's really trying to bring a lot of legend stuff and other stuff into the current minds of Star Wars characters and trying to bring back these legends characters and things of that nature. And I love it, you know. So and really doing a good job expanding the universe. You can say what you want about Ahsoka, but the expansion of the Star Wars universe was incredible, you know, with the lore and everything. It was so well done. Nathan H. Oh, well, what did you say, General Ranger? I've been getting my coworkers to start playing SWGOH. Oh, look at him doing his thing. All right.
Nathan, okay, your co-workers are over 12 or something like that. You're not walking
well,
around
he works at Legoland, yeah. I think
okay. Oh, right, okay, good.
He's a 30-year-old man, so I don't think so. They're all the co-workers.
Just checking.
Adults, dum-dum.
Anytime when you hear somebody saying Oh, I'm introducing SWGOH to people. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
there's child labor laws in the US. I don't think he's
yeah,
working with
okay.
12-year-olds all this. I know you're used to being in the Far East and stuff where that shit's more prominent, but not here in the US. Nathan H's question: I'm enjoying One Piece. How would you rank it among anime? It's one of my top 10 anime favorites of all time. The manga especially, but yeah, the anime itself, if you cut out the filler, there's a lot of filler in One Piece. There just is. But if you get to the main stories, they're incredible. Great characters. I've been a One Piece fan since 1999. I love the characters. Zora's my favorite character. So yeah, but it's definitely a top 10 anime for me. It's mainly because of the manga, just my love of One Piece. You get through the fillers, like, because I always read ahead in the manga, so I know what's coming. I just want to see it animated. Seeing Luffy here recently going to Gear 5 was just, mwah, it was amazing. Trouble on Demand is showing up, just making some breakfast or all this. All right, a little breakfast here. Ray Rock says, I had breakfast, but I'm still drinking my coffee until lunch. That's, damn it. You're going to have coffee. Or if you're going to have breakfast, why not have some coffee? Oh, God damn it. YouTube inserted another ad. Sorry, guys. Nothing I can do about it. Just what YouTube snuck that when it just said, hey, ad inserted. I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't even get a chance to say fuck off. All right. The new thing YouTube does, you have to just enjoy the ad. If nothing I can do about it. Stupid.
What do we do?
We still keep talking. There's just certain people get ads and stuff, It's like,
Okay. Maybe we should do an ad in the
if I
background.
made any money from that, I would be pushing that more. But since we don't make any money on YouTube streaming and stuff, it's like, why? I try to just get rid of those as quickly as possible, but they sneak them in sometimes. Like, ad inserted. I'm like, wait a minute. I get some say on this, don't I? Nope, ad inserted. All right. So yeah, get your questions in. We'll go a little bit while longer here. Trying to think if there's anything else we get. So Bad Batch is around the corner. I'm excited for that series. Getting ready for Megacon. Gonna be representing. Oh yeah, YouTube Premium is worth it. Getting rid of all of the ads and stuff you get in videos and stuff is definitely worth it. Just as a content creator, so I don't have to deal with it. So I can, like, when I'm not streaming, I could have all this and other people on that I'm watching videos and stuff on and not worry about ads every 30 seconds. Pretty brutal. Yeah, Jedi rolls. Aldous, I'm 31 years old, going on 32, and my coworkers are all in their 20s and 30s. I corrected him, Jedi rolls. So,
No, I know. I was being facetious. It's kind of like, I always SWGOH is such a positive effect on my life, but I always kind of worry about introducing it to friends of mine because I'd be like, I'd have to go back to them in 6 months' time and just check, are you okay? Do you still have a house? Like that kind of that fear would just be,
send the line. Aldous, come on, man. Give me some crystals, baby. I'm good for it. Come on, baby. It's me, Aldous.
Hook me up.
I'm your friend, man. Come on, send me some money, man. I need to get some crystals, baby. Aldous sitting there like, I gotta go.
Yep. Not me. Did not introduce you to that game. Yeah, no, it's look, it's a good game. I'm only joking. Obviously.
Sopper says, does Bad Batch Season 3 mean anything in SWGOH for any special events like additive or bonus shops? No, it's happening in February, maybe, but they'll probably save that stuff if they release the characters, whatever from that show into the game. The only additional stuff we may get is in May. We know May the 4th is a big deal where we get a lot of extra goodies and double drops and things of that nature. But in between then, you never know, CG. Once in a while they do that. Well, they'll do a double drop event or something. But outside of that, usually the anniversary of the game and May the 4th, you can count on for double drops and goodies. Outside of that, it's rando. We've had it at different times, rando, where it's like, hey, this weekend's going to be double drops for this, or we're releasing this character or something. It's like, okay. I wasn't planning on that, but cool.
The only thing I might say, maybe a Bad Batch Lightspeed bundle wouldn't be a million miles off.
No, not with Lord Schmader thing kind of thing. Yeah, I could see that.
So I do think there's a Bad Batch Lightspeed somewhere in the works. And if they want to advertise Series 3 and get people hyped about it, It is a
Sure.
possible get people to relic up their final Omega. So yeah, that would be
Omega.
the only thing I would see around that. But yeah, that'd be my opinion.
You say Omega? Hmm. Ricky. Gotta say it like they do. Each. Sopper says, I got dinner now, seeing the bit Ranger Skewers and Aldi on the island. That's right. He be streaming on there and the WWE and all that stuff. I'm just not into WWE anymore. After the Attitude
Oh, we
Era,
had
I
a
watched
great.
I watched WWE for a long time, but you just go through cycles. Maybe one day I'll get back into WWE, but I'm just not feeling it right now. And I've been to quite a few WWE events and stuff, and they're awesome. Don't get me wrong. I loved the WWE for a long time, but
I
it's like
love I
it's
love the
just
Royal Rumble
the
for
Royal
its
Rumble's always good.
story, and the Royal Rumble is on tonight, Saturday night. And therefore last night we did our Royal Rumble WWE chat and stream and discussing stream, which
Sure.
was super fun last night. And I did win the Royal Rumble and pointed at the WrestleMania side. But yeah, look, honestly, I think as content creators, it's good to be able to kind of cover other stuff and stretch. And I appreciate people like Jack Daniels turning up to that stream. And it's not Swiggo, it's not, and it's nice to see. So thank you for the support. I
Yeah, and
appreciate that. I appreciate that.
yeah, and once I get my computer all jazzed up here next week and stuff, I'm going to be doing more games. I'm definitely interested in the One Punch Man game. I've been talking with McVenom and the ladies of doing some Among Us. Maybe we'll get Aldous Sandfly to be joining us on them games streams. That'd be a lot of fun to have all the ladies and Aldous hanging out trying to murder each other.
I'll kill them. I'll kill them.
Yeah, they'll to kill you. You think you're ruthless? You should see the ladies play, man. They just go all sweet, like I didn't do that. Like you
Not
were
me.
lying your tits off. I know you did. I saw you jump out of that vent and smack Aldous in the face and stab him in the heart. So get out of here. You're gonna be. Oh, I know your Jedi Rules is a big WWE. So yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong.
It's great. I love the Royal Rumble. It's so much more than just.
Do you
Actually,
love
it's
it
no,
more than WrestleMania?
Yeah, well, yeah, I do, because Royal Rumble's not actually like a wrestling match. The Royal Rumble is
Mosh pit of
it's
chaos.
surprises and it is fun and it is. We're going to get a few surprise returns. We'll have a few old people coming back. We might even get Hulk Hogan appearing after 40 years ago. He had his debut at the Royal Rumble, so it's the 40th anniversary of him. And since he saved somebody from a car crash recently, he's back a little bit on the positive side. So we might have Hulk Hogan. We might get The Rock appearing. It's those things.
What The Rock is cooking.
Exactly. I mean,
my favorite line from
these.
this is my favorite line from The Rock. Hey Aldous, what do you think about that? It
It
doesn't matter what you think.
I know. Just honestly, it's brilliant. And you mix all those classics in with the modern people like CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. My money, just for what we discovered last night, my money is on Gunther to win the men's one. Gunther for me will win the men's one, or a returning Brock Lesnar. And the
Brock
women's.
Lesnar.
The women's will go to Jade Cargill, I think. That is my predictions. But we will see a lot of incredibly great returns. But we talked last night for 2 hours. If you want to watch that, go watch that. But yeah, I love wrestling. I just love the stories, and it is the weirdness and the story of it I love, rather than the sport of it. So yeah.
Ray Rock says, Aldous, I thought you were more of a football fan than a wrestling fan.
I love American Throwing Ball and Scottish Kicky Ball.
Yeah.
I love them all. So I watch wrestling and football and American football, and obviously tomorrow night my money's still on the 49ers to win the Super Bowl. So I'm still on the 49ers.
I think it's I mean, you look at it. I mean,
it was good last week though.
It was really good games last week. I mean, I'm pulling for Detroit, even though I think the 49ers are going to win, just because Detroit to get to Super Bowl would be fucking incredible. And I'd like to see Baltimore win just because I like people to shut up about Lamar Jackson. The guy is an incredible athlete and quarterback, and I'm sick of hearing these arguments that he's in the playoffs. And okay, I hope he gets the Super Bowl, and then that discussion goes down the toilet, and I don't have to hear about that crap anymore. But you just can't it's hard to bet against Mahomes. If they win another Super Bowl, man, my God, he's just cemented himself as one of the legends, of the game. It's going to be Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Montana, those guys on the Mount Rushmore quarterbacks.
They have
Christ.
got to play it down the line from refereeing, though. If Kansas City wins, they've got to be careful. There's so many people talking about them trying to stack up referees for Taylor Swift. Then which is nonsense. They're not doing that at all. These are professionals, but they've got to make
the
sure.
best refs go into those games, so yeah.
But we need to see Patrick Mahomes needs to win it on the field, not with a last minute call or a dodgy pass interference or something like that. I want to see him win it on the field. But
I hope we get good clean games, and let them fight, and then we'll see. Yeah, they still need to call. If someone's doing pass interference and they're grabbing the receiver and throwing him to the ground, it's like, yeah, you got to get a flag. I don't care if there's only 1 minute left in the game. You can't be doing that shit. Play better defense. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. And it's Championship Sunday here in the U.S., and there's going to be a shit ton of people watching those games. I mainly, my Cowboys shit the bed, but I just love good football. I just like good soccer, man. I know football, but I watch the Premier League. I don't get, yeah, I'll follow Manchester United. That's my team, but not really. I just like watching good matches. I just like good sports. So yeah. It's not up to you. He says, I don't want the Chiefs in the Super Bowl again. Well, you got to kick their ass out of the playoffs then. That's just the way it is. You want to be the champ? You got to beat the champ, so that's the way that goes. I am pulling for Lamar and I am pulling for Detroit. So, ratings wise, that people would want to see the 49ers and the Chiefs, as executives, but I'm pulling for Detroit, man. I think that city would just lose its fucking mind, man. Yeah. But to see, and however it plays out at that point, I wouldn't care who wins at that point. If it was Lamar and the Ravens versus Detroit, I'd be like, hey, whatever happens. It's going to be a great story. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But until you sick of Patrick Mahomes, then they need to beat his ass, because he has proven time and time again he is a fucking 6 straight conference championships. 3 Super Bowls. He's won 2 Super Bowls, and he's only 27, 28. That's insane. So if he gets another one, if he wins 3 out of 4, that's Christ. Back to back. Yep. To beat the man, to be the man, you got to beat the man. That's right.
But what a day to be alive, to have the Royal Rumble tonight and then have Championship Sunday tomorrow. Absolutely glorious. Glorious time to be alive.
Yeah. So, all right. We'll go for a few more minutes here. Get your final questions in, thoughts, bitches, gripes, complaints, whatever's on your mind. We'll talk about it. But yeah. And then I'm getting ready for baseball season. It's around the corner. I'm a big baseball fan, so my Stros will be making another playoff run. They just added that relief pitcher. I couldn't believe they got that guy. I was like, you're adding that to the Astros bullpen? Jesus Christ. Josh, the relief pitcher, I can't remember.
I hope my San Diego Padres have a better season. As ever, I start the season with excitement and hope that my Padres and my San Diego Chargers do well. Yeah. But yeah, I'm a huge Padres fan.
Yeah, so is Jedi Rules. So yeah,
it's down here. I have my very old Padres baseball cap. It's the only thing. The oldest thing I own. About 15 years old. Into the world. Anyway.
Looking at
my Padres. They're my Padres. And my Chargers.
Yeah, so you're going to follow your team, yeah. I know. Well, no, we don't have any platoons on phase 6 or Linky, so I don't have to worry about Embo. So, but yeah, I love baseball. So I think the Padres have a tough road to climb. If they stay healthy, then they can definitely see them making the playoffs. But man, the Dodgers and their moves, Christ almighty, that's ridiculous. Oh
yeah.
My God.
Yep.
Ohtani, I don't care what league it was, American or National League, that dude just rakes and pitches ass off, and they needed both, and they got that other pitcher too. It's like, oh my. It's just the Dodgers are going to be. I mean, but the Dodgers, man, it's just they are kind of like, you know, they have an incredible regular season and then shit the bed in the playoffs. They're the Cowboys of MLB. You know, it's crazy. So we'll see, but yeah, the Astros are going to be awesome again and make their run. It's really hard though. I mean, people don't realize how hard it is to get to the playoffs in any sport and then go on a run. Right. So when you look at what the Chiefs are doing or the Astros are doing, going all to these, you know, the championship games and the Super Bowl or winning the whole thing, that's really tough to do. So yeah. So yeah, the Dodgers are going to be a tough team. They're going to be a really tough team. All right. Final thoughts on anything? Get it in. Yeah, I saw that the other day from Josh Hader. I'm like, you guys got Josh Hader? Woo, Astros looking good. The Astros' strength is their pitching, and they're tops in pitching. Pitching wins championships. Hitting will get you there, but pitching will definitely win. Hut Cartel to Relic 9 worth it? Chrysanthemum, yes. Outside of that, no. No Relic 9. Relic 8 are, you know, just for this. Now, Jabba is a Relic 9 that he's a GL. So you get the extra benefits from that. It's not a top priority GL Relic 9. Chrysanthemum has a tank at Relic 9. I've seen his stats when he's modded. Like, you go look at Karst Chrysanthemum and just be like, what the holy hell is that thing? You know, where you just like, he's almost unkillable, right? But outside of that, no. Relic 8.
No, not for me. Even Relic 9, my Afra still eats Jabba alive.
Well, that's because of the Datacron, but yeah, just
No,
I'm
no, no.
talking.
But even without the Datacron, she will eat an R9 Relic alive, R9 Chrysanthemum alive. I would be very nervous at the moment. I do think Jabba is one of the teams that is going to need Bib Fortuna soon. There is too many for me counters to Jabba. And Afra is almost a hard counter. And doesn't break up too many other teams. So for me,
no, you go in there with your team. There's an investment in the relics and stuff on that team and mods, but yeah, once you get that thing up and running. Right now, that Boushh, the only reason you can use Afra against it is because if that Dr. Africron wouldn't exist, Boushh would eat that team alive, right? Because just thermals are so bloody nasty, man. God, it just, and if they target Afra on that counter, you're really in trouble with the Boushh. So it's good that we have the Africron in right now because that's the only saving grace. But then it made Dr. Afra just really good against a lot of stuff. Right, because you go first and you dictate, and you know, but
vanilla versus vanilla, my Afro will be a Jabba, so I wouldn't recommend.
I don't know, man.
Really
I think
them. Yeah, I have B2 in the Team Exos. Yeah, that's the variation. But I would be worried. I wouldn't relic 9 Jabba. Not
Jabba, but Chrysanthemum as a tank for where you use them. It's just more value, I think, than Jabba. I mean, yeah, you get more stats, but I mean, Jabba at Relic 8 does what he needs to do. Relic 9s, like Karst, the reason people despise Chrysanthemum and Upper Kyber is the stats he gets from that with the modding, and it's just, it's ludicrous, man. Go look at Karst Chrysanthemum and be like, that's just dumb. But for most of us, I'll agree with you all this, you're not facing that, you know, that kind of modding.
But even, but I do hit some pretty high but yeah, for me, I don't know. I even end up killing Jabba before I kill Chrysanthemum sometimes because the burn gets so damaged that actually Jabba dies and there's still a lone Chrysanthemum standing there. Yeah, for me, I'd be Relic 8ing 2 for the new raid or something like that. I'd go down that line for me.
Yeah, what else? I agree. I agree with that. I think GML is a better Relic 9 than Jabba. I think actually Rey is a better Relic 9 than Jabba because that boost in damage and stuff she gets from there. And before that, JTR is a better Relic 9 than anything on the Hut Cartel team because that mastery and stuff she gets as a tank under Rey. Oh my God, if you've not faced a Relic 9 GATR, Holy shit, that can be annoying. And I also think Leia is an automatic Relic 9. The damage and things and everything, because she's a tank and the way that team is set up and the way it operates, those three I would do before I do anything with the Hut Cartel, right? I mean, would it be nice? Yes, but those characters and stuff, way more Relic 9 worthy than I think that anybody on the Hut Cartel.
That was more my point. Is that I think it'd be a long time before I got to Chrysanthemum. I would maybe even just sit on the R9s until the next sort of thing comes out, so I see where we're going or where we're going. I don't think I would R9 Leia. She is offensive as well, so
that GLs get that extra boost with their mastery and stuff because it just but the some are there's levels, right, to what each of the GLs get for for that boost. And I think Rey, JML, Leia are more priority than say your other G. Not that they don't, don't get me wrong. They're good for your GLs, but there's a pecking order for like where you're going to put Relic 9s on. Like JML at Relic 9 is just, it's a different character. It really is, man. It's a whole new world with JML at Relic 9. That's when you go in against Lord Vader and be like, you can die now, kind of thing.
We are also potentially heading towards a trench capital ship, so
we are potentially
heading towards needing an R9 trench.
Possibly 2 or 3 if they do like they did with Sith,
2 or 3 other R9s. So bear in mind that you are kind of heading into space or time of the year where you might need some separatist R9s. For me, no on Chrysanthemum, but yeah.
Yeah, those are luxuries. They're nice to have, but you don't need it. Job and JMK are the GLs I don't have at Relic 9. Yeah, I mean, C doesn't need Relic 9, doesn't get a lot from it. SRK are still going to do his thing at Relic 8. Again, if I could take all my GLs to Relic 9, sure, they all get some benefit, but there's apples and oranges on comparison of like which GLs really benefit from Relic 9s as compared to others. Like Rey, that substantial mastery and boost and damage from her ultimate, it's just stupid. But yeah.
Linky's right, though. I mean, okay, if he's talking purely on TB
only... Oh, for sure, yeah. Because you're going to use them a lot in TB. Every middle zone, you're going to need Hut Cartel, basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree with you 1,000%. Yeah,
and your guild will love you for that.
Question, what's the use case for the IPD Datacron who revives it, assuming the murder droids are with the Alpha 3s?
Dark Side Moff Gideon?
But I wouldn't
revive him?
I don't look at, but like
he hasn't revived.
I'm not using that cron on a Dr. Afra team. If you don't have the Dr. Afra cron, then sure you can use that and just send IPD over and over again. But the Dr. Afra cron trumps the IPD cron. The IPD cron you're going to use in some kind of Empire lineup, where you're trying to,
But it is a weird Datacron. It's like he gets a lot more damage and he can be revived, but it doesn't really tell you who revives him or how or what that use case is. It is a strange Datacron. When I first saw it, I was quite excited because I thought he self-revived himself. But then when somebody pointed out he had to actually be revived, I was like, well, I don't really know how I would achieve that. So
it's not a priority for me, but yeah. Nathan,
it looks like great. Honestly, it does look like a great Datacron if you could revive him. But, it's hard.
I think DTMG is more of a priority for Datacrons than IPD.
Yeah.
Nathan H. question, what is your top 5 anime of all time? It fluctuates. Number 1 is Berserk. That's my favorite one of all time, between the manga, and it's unfortunate. It's starting to get wrapped up, but the creator passed away a few years back, and so we didn't quite get the result. He left his notes and stuff, but we'll see what happens. I don't think we're gonna get it. Maybe we'll get some more anime on it, but the anime itself is incredible. So is the manga. So I'm gonna include manga in there as well. Number 2, I'm going to go One Punch Man. I know people don't really like the second season, but I've read the manga and I know where this arc is going, and it's incredible, the story in that. Number 3 would be Jujutsu Kaisen for me. If you're not familiar with Jujutsu Kaisen, I don't know what to tell you. Number 4, I'm going to put One Piece in there because it's One Piece. I mean, then at 5, man, it's going to be tough. I don't know what I would... Boy, there's so many good ones out there. Face Day Night. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. There's so many good ones. I'd have to rethink my fifth slot. That's one of those just oof. It's a tough one, man. There's so many good ones out there that I really like, from Haiku to Food Wars. Demon Slayer, I know, gets a lot of trash because of how, oh god, Attack on Titan probably be in my top 5. And I know, yeah, Demon Slayer gets a lot. It's not gonna be in my top 5, but Demon Slayer is a top anime for me, man. If you've not seen Demon Slayer, the animated version, I know how the manga goes, but the animated version of Demon Slayer is incredible. I'm just thinking. I had to give that one some thought because there's a lot of anime out there. But yeah, those typically are kind of where I'm at with anime. But it's changed because like Jujutsu Kaisen, if you'd asked me 5 years ago before it came out, really before I got into it, I wouldn't have had it in my top 5. It just came out. But now that I've read the manga and know the story, and then just how incredible that anime is, yeah, it'd be in there. All right, let's get off the anime kick. Linky Ranger, your favorite new Jedi Order book. I know they aren't canon anymore, but you probably did read them, right? I've read all the legend books from Star Wars. I don't know. New Jedi Order, it was okay. There was a lot of decent stories in there. I'd have to go back and refresh myself a little bit on the arcs on those. I got more into the Vong Wars were my big thing. I really liked the Vong saga from Star Wars. It was so different, right? You got out of the comfort zone of having this entirely new antithesis that came in and just was brutal, man. I mean, if you don't know about the Vong War, we actually did a lore video on it. The Vong were, killed multi-trillions of people. The genocide, the things, the way they operate, the way their society is, the way their everything, bioorganic armor and things of that nature. It was, in my opinion, ahead of its time. It was such different Star Wars than we were used to. Yeah, you had your Mandos and your Sith and your Jedi and the Empire and the New Republic fighting each other over shit all the time. And then here come the Vong saying, well, fuck you guys, we're going to kill all of you, and boy, did they come close. If you're not read that, it is unbelievable. I mean, there's some good series and stuff and stories, the new Jedi Academy, the new Jedi Order, all that stuff. And there's a lot of good arcs and stuff there. I did like the Cadus stuff with Jason Solo. I don't know. I'd have to revisit it. I don't know if you've read. I don't know. As we get ready to sign off here, I'll just read any of the books, but from the Legends
I'm the
material.
opposite. I mean, honestly, it's so good to hear you. I've never seen any anime really at all, so it's nice hearing you give like advice of things I could watch. And no, I've never read anything. I've never even seen Clone Wars or Star Wars Rebels, so I've never even seen it. So I am such a movie file that really that is my entire sphere, and then now onto Disney Plus stuff. But yeah. So no, I have never read any of these things. So
I'm a lore junkie, man. It's just what I do. So, I don't usually watch typical regular television anymore. I haven't for many long times. If I'm not reading a manga or a book, I'm divested or invested completely into the lore material. And it could be anything. It could be Lord of the Rings. It could be Warhammer or Warhammer 40K. It could be any of that stuff. I love that. Yu Yu Hakusho is a classic. That'd be in my top 20. I love Yu Yu Hakusho. It's so ahead of its time. That's such great characters. And if you haven't heard the English dub version, I usually watch it subbed. I like the original Japanese better. But the voice acting, that's so over the top, man. Christ almighty, you've got to listen. Oh my god, it's so bad, but so good. It's so bad, it's good. It's so bad, it turns itself on its head and becomes exquisite. Hey, Kibarachi, what are we gonna do? It's like, oh my god, what are you thinking about that choice? Oh my lord.
I do love the anime art style, and I do love that Japanese style of, and I hope to God they bring that more into Jedi lightsaber battles, especially with the origin of the Jedi. I'd love that film coming up, that one that's set ages and ages ago. I would love them to give it more of a Japanesey feel and really
Yeah.
use anime filming and angles and stop motion and stuff like that. I think it would be really, really kind of. I'd love to experience kind of Jedi coming from samurai or sort of borrowing from that space. Would be lovely for me. So I'd love because there's such a crossover between lightsaber battles specifically and anime for me.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see them really double down on that.
Yeah, the Baki series is incredible. I like the Baki series, Grappler Baki. Um, there's been so many animes I've watched. A lot of them I've forgotten about because it's like mm. But there's a lot of good ones here lately that have popped in that I've been like, okay, because when I watch an anime, I kind of know the genre, but I don't care about that like some people do. I care what are the characters, what are the story arcs, what are the how are you telling this story, and then the action if it's more of a shonen where you're going to have a lot of more of that action. But shonens for me have a certain threshold. We know we're going to get the action, but are the characters, what are the characters, and then what are you trying to do? Like Konosuba for me is a top 10 anime. I adore Konosuba because it breaks the fourth wall and it's just so over the top and pits enemy on its head the way it tells a story. And I've never laughed so hard with those characters. They're so ridiculous. But so it just depends, there's so many good enemies out there that, you just they hit you in a certain way. I watched what was it, Ranking of Kings, and the main character in that is a little small boy that's deaf and mute, and he gets made fun of all the time, and it's super powerful. He's the prince of this kingdom and wants to be the king, but who's going to make a kid that's deaf and mute, you know, the king? And it was incredible, and it was an amazing, and I was rooting for that little bastard the entire thing. I mean, it had me choked up at certain points, like, oh my God, what am I watching? I mean, the artworks, it's a little janky from an older style, but I didn't care because it was so good. The story was so good and the characters were so good. I've not seen that. It's on my watch list, Betty. But To Your Eternity is a recent one that got me really hard. There's an isekai one that's really good. It's this. I'm not going to spoil it but it's really powerful. I think Jobless Reincarnation. It's so good, man. It flips anime on its. These stories like that these characters. Yeah, I want to see awesome animated
I
stuff.
also
But
the other thing I love about anime, the stories are very raw. Like,
very.
and I would love for the Star Wars Disney to adopt more of those really raw storylines and those really kind of give people real purpose, not just, oh my God, you killed a droid, so I'm going to chase you across it. Give them real purpose, give them real kind of emotions. I feel that at the moment in the recent films in particular, people do things kind of for no real reason. Whereas I love the anime rawness, the anime passion they give to things. So I would really, really, really love for Star Wars to steal from that,
Yeah, I
steal
mean
those storylines, steal that emotion.
yeah, animation Japan, the raw emotion of deaths and characters are impactful. You feel it, right? It's incredible if it's done well. There's other ones that's like, there's a lot of anime out there that's just it's just junky. Watch this for the lulz, right? But then there's other powerful anime series that if you ask me about it, yeah, like, and there's a lot of mainstays that you can watch and get into. I always tell people there's just certain animes you want to watch before you go into other animes to make your own mind, because I know they're good. Most people watch it, it's popular because it's really good, like Attack on Titan or Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. These kind of shows that, like, trust me, you're gonna like this. It's really good storytelling. The characters are incredible. I mean, there's moments in there. The action is emotional. It's not just a fight for a fight. It's a fight that's for life and death. And there's meaning behind the fight and why this is happening. Especially like when you watch these, it's like, good God, you're invested in what's happening. And when something happens, you're just like, I didn't see that shit coming, and you're just like, oh my God. So Yeah, the original one was janky because they didn't follow the story. They fucked that the first Full Metal Alchemist set up, but the Brotherhood fixed all that shit, which is all right. So with that, guys, we're gonna get out of here. Hit the thumbs up, all that stuff, all the Sandfly. I know you be streaming today. Where can folks be checking out on the beat?
Well, I streamed this morning. I did the feedback of my survey this morning, the community survey.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
I have uploaded the video on YouTube now. So if you go to YouTube, welcome to Sandflies, you can watch the 2 hours. I was joined by the wonderful Thisk. You're thinking man's crumpet. And it was great. Yes, if you want to see 2 hours more of discussion on SWGOH, jump across to Welcome to Sandflies on YouTube and watch that. If not, just join us on Twitch. But thank you, everyone.
That'll do it. So make sure you do us a favor and go check that out for Malde Sandflies. So some love for him for being here. And check him out on Twitch when he's live streaming, and check out his videos on YouTube and show him some love. That's the easiest way to say thank you for him being here on a Saturday. Now remember, next Saturday, no Jedi Academy because I'm going to be in Florida doing Megacon. Not going to be available, so no. We'll do streams, but there's not going to be a Jedi Academy. So we'll be back the week after to get. Hopefully, we'll have some news that we can discuss. A little slow in the news this week, but you know it's fine. You know we have those slow weeks in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. So with that, make sure you hit the thumbs up on this channel, hit the subscribe, leave comments, share the video. Helps the channel. Even though we don't make anything, think about coming to Patreon. If you like the content, that's the best way to support it. If you want to support us financially, just go to become a Patreon, $5 a month or more. You get lots of benefits and stuff like that. All right, everyone have a great rest of your Saturday. We might get some D&D in tonight. I don't know what's going on with that, but everyone have a great rest of your day. Love you guys, and we'll see you later. Peace out.